Do you find that crazy? I know, or do you find it, the ability to do so crazy?
Right.
Do you find it that we're going to have the ability to say no? Like, where do you see, like, yeah, where do you see it going?
Yeah, consent and preferences management is what we call it, right? And that's we do quite a bit of work with many of our clients on that topic. You may have noticed all the little pop-ups that say, do you accept us collecting cookies or reject or only some of the cookies, etc. That's the kind of the tip of the iceberg when it comes to what can and cannot be done with your data. Not only banks, many institutions collect your data when you're interacting with their digital products and so on. And that's fine if they're able to offer you better services, but it does need to be regulated to a certain extent. The same will apply to AI. Would you opt in to having us use your transaction data and everything that we know about you from the way you use our different products to offer you better services using AI models that may or may not be trained on it? The question itself is a mouthful. So it's kind of the jury's out there as to whether people will opt in for that.
Yeah.
It is a generational divide as well. And we'll see this even in the demographics of how products are positioned to the newer generations versus the older generations. I think my generation is probably a little bit okay with
Our generation, you mean?
I didn't want to make assumptions, so so yes,
It's definitely our generation.
well, I think that the let's call it the millennials, right? The millennials are a little bit more comfortable with use my data, do whatever you want with it.
Right.
The previous generations are not, and it turns out Gen Zers are also less comfortable with sharing their data depending on what it's used for.
Right.
So really, the jury's out there. We'll see how that works out. But there's definitely a lot of business benefit and personalization and so on that banks in particular are hoping to get from
Yeah.
this.
I call this phase convergence, right? Because I also think there is this time frame for blockchain and identity. Like there's a lot of different technologies
one,
coming
yeah.
together at one time. And I know with the blockchain folks, like, they're heavily focused on decentralizing data. And so you get to own it and make those decisions based on what you want to be able to share and what you don't. So I just find this time frame really interesting of where things are headed, if we like it or not.
Yeah, actually, and just to spin off of that point, there's three technology trends, you could say, that are all going to converge, to use a word that you just used. There's graph technology, which is a data structure for storing relational data, right? There's the blockchain, which is your digital ledger for all kinds of decisions and history and so on. And then there's AI for decision making. If you have agents processing transactions and AI agents trying to hyper personalize products and things like that, they need information about you stored in a graph because that's relational and it's a little bit more granular than the typical databases. We'll probably need to use blockchains and distributed ledgers to keep track of the pace at which these agents go, to keep track of how the history of transactions plays out for a particular individual. And then you need the LLMs and generative AI technology to be able to package it into a experience for your customer. So convergence is spot on.
Okay, so let's talk a use case here,
Sure.
right? One of the things that I think everyone struggles with when they're buying a house is mortgages, right? And,
Yep.
it's one of those things that takes months. Different
Right.
systems need to be talking. It's actually different vendors, right? Like, being able to go through a process and get approval or not, or a disapproval much faster. Where are we today
Sure.
with that process? How is AI being enabled in that, and potentially blockchain too?
Yeah. I'm sure everyone will associate with the fact that thankfully we're moving away largely from paperwork. But it's just become digital paperwork, right? It used to be forms, now it's digital forms.
I thought I would always sign my life away every time I'd buy a property, like, because it's like this much. You're just signing one paper at a time.
Yeah, and you have to get the same
so
signature on
old
every
school.
page.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, so we've moved over to digital forms, which is a massive leap forward. A direction that
Cheers to digital form.
Yes.
We'll take it.
I just heard like 1,000 UX people groan at that statement for cheers to digital forms. But that's a good segue, right? The experience for the consumer or the potential consumer in the case of a loan has not really changed. You still have to provide a bunch of information, then provide it in different ways, then wait for a decision, then provide some more information, and then at the end of it, you may or may not be satisfied with the outcome. You're also typically trying to do this across multiple sources. You're shopping for the best rate and so on. So you're providing the same information everywhere. So one thing that is already happening is the use of AI agents to extract your information from raw unstructured data that you provided. So you no longer need
Can we
to,
explain that? So
yeah,
that just makes, yeah, like,
sure. So think about an experience where you would go to Bank X and try to fill out an application to be pre-approved for a home loan. Without having to fill out all those forms, you could just dump your ID, your passport, your current lease and proof of income and things like that, and
right.
let it extract all of that for you and come back with a proposal on, hey, this is what I've collected about you. Does this look accurate? You can make some edits, or you can proceed.
Can I pause just for a second?
Sure.
That's a big deal. Like even those little things, because it's like, you know, it's like when you go to a doctor and you have to always fill out the same medical form over and over again. And it's the simple things that are being changed today. And that's just going to be part of everyday experience.
That's
now,
right.
right? And
Yeah.
it's almost going to become a customer expectation versus, you know, so right now it could be a differentiator.
Right.
But in the next year, when everybody's doing it,
Yeah, it'll
for
be
new
table
people,
stakes.
they're like, that's just the way it was. What do you mean you used to do it like that? Like, you know, so it's good. It's good. It's just good because it's taking so much heartache from even just collecting the data. Now the AI can read the information and create the form for you, if you will.
Exactly,
Or
and
fill
so
out
that's
form. Yeah.
that's that customer expectation point that you made is excellent, because that's the competitive pressure that is moving financial institutions towards more AI adoption. An industry that is not historically known for leaping into anything, right?
Right.
Like they usually see everything out, they have to comply with regulations, but the adoption of AI tools and the interfaces has been so quick that it is going to be an expectation tomorrow, and it may even be a differentiator if you have that kind of experience versus the traditional one.